So welcome to Emmanuel's Manual, and I'm Emmanuel. So this time I have a really close friend with me, who's Isaac, and
Yo, what's up, man? Thank you for
he's
inviting me to your podcast. What's up?
you're welcome. So he's actually one of my closest friend on planet Earth. So basically, we know each other since primary school, right?
Yeah, we have known each other for quite a while now. I
And like
believe it was like grade 5 or something. Yeah, we
four,
we knew each
yeah.
other for a very long time.
And then and and after like secondary school, I kind of like I kind of like yeah. That was a really depressing time, and I left left everyone that I know, and you're one of the few friends that I'm still having contact, and I still talk to frequently for a while during those depressing times. So like your help and your company is a really important thing for me, I
Wow,
guess.
that
Yeah,
that's really deep. Well, it's good to see you, back on your feet
back on
after
my
those
feet.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what are we going to talk about today?
So basically, we have watched a movie recently, a few days ago,
Oh yeah,
and it's
right.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And
Yes, we just went there like a couple days ago, right?
yeah,
What do you
and
think of the movie?
I think it's amazing. Like the first movie is like my favorite, and then now I'm arguing with myself whether the second movie is also my favorite because I can't distinguish which one is better because both are amazing. But yeah,
Well, I just watched the first one, a couple of days before we watched the movie, so I remember both of them quite clearly. And I think the second one is a bit better.
well,
Well, spoilers. Yeah.
according to the scores on like Rotten Tomato, or I don't know, IMDb, something like
Yeah.
that, they have higher scores. So we like maybe it's
Which
better.
one has the highest score?
The second movie, like the one
Oh,
who's
the second
currently on
movie.
the
Okay.
cinema.
Well, I
Yeah,
think spoilers for second movie first of all, but I think that the second movie has a very great concept. They fight
don't.
among themselves, and
Yeah,
there isn't really a clear villain and a clear hero side, not quite like other Marvel movies where they differentiate, Thanos is the bad guy and Captain America is the good guy. But for this one, I think both of the sides have their own entitled opinion and
right.
they have their own view. So I think this movie is quite unique for a for such a hero for such a genre. So I think the second one is slightly better than the first one.
Well, I think that you can say that Thanos, like the movie, the Endgame, have have his sides of the have his sides of this argument too. So it's not like Thanos is completely wrong. He's right to a certain extent, I guess. But yeah, well, and it's not a spoiler talking about who's right or wrong. But like that's how I like movies. I don't like movies that have an obvious feeling because in reality you can't really distinguish like whether what's really completely wrong or right by only some parameters. And and this kind of movies fits into reality and fits into the concerns of like whether what side of the argument should you support. And it reminds me of like how you deal with real life because they're not really clear distinguish right or wrong in some actions but only some
Yeah,
kind
of
of
course. Yeah,
preference.
yeah, of course. Yeah,
So
like so many incidents. There, so many different wars, civil wars, and there isn't really a right side to everything.
yeah,
It's not like a coin flip. There's two sides to everything. It's not like that. It's always blurred like paint.
And do you think that's what makes a good movie, or do you think that there are other parameters or factors that make a good movie?
When I was a bit younger,
Right.
when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I loved watching movies, every genre, romance, whether it is drama, suspense, action, sci-fi, whatever movie, I'll watch it because, I got so much time back then. But nowadays, not so much time anymore. So I'm quite picky with movies. Sometimes I watch some movies and I just got bored in the first 50. If I get bored in the first 15 minutes, then I'll probably click it off. So nowadays I'm looking for, I think what defines a good movie is it stands out, it's unique. It doesn't, run on a Hollywood formula like so many movies out there. So I really like a movie that can really stand out.
Right.
So
And
I think recently, I really like Christopher Nolan's movie, the Dunkirk one. Have you seen it? The World War II Dunkirk movie?
oh, not. I don't think so. But
Well, I think it's a very unique movie because it shows the suspense of a war instead of, full of action scenes, people dying, explosion everywhere, like Michael Bay style. It's not like that. It's full of suspense, and I think it's really unique in a way. So that's really how I define a good movie nowadays. And moreover, I don't really spend that much time and money in cinemas anymore. So I'm really quite picky with movies nowadays.
right. And
And yeah, the Spider-Man one is a good one in my books.
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you kind of rank it for like the third, like the third category, or the third movie, the third
Yes,
category that you like.
out of this might be a controversial take, but out of all the hero movies out there, I think, well, I told you before, but
Yeah, you
best
can
one
tell
is
them.
the Dark Knight trilogy. And I think the second one is Logan, from the X-Men series,
Right.
and the Thanos one. And
Oh,
the third one is Spider-Man. Yes. So what do you rank your hero movies? You must have watched a bit more than me. The TV series, I don't really watch them.
well, first of
What's your
all,
ranking?
talking about the TV series, like I'm watching some the Japanese anime show, like
Okay.
the one. Do you recommend? I don't know. What's the name? Oh,
Which one? Which one?
the
Well,
one
what
with the
was it about?
idol. The one
Oh
with the
yeah, yeah,
idol
yeah,
one.
yeah.
What's
Okay.
the name?
Oh, Shinoko.
And and for the first like 15 minutes or something, I wanna like turn it off because I feel like it's so boring.
Why? What the hell,
I
man?
feel like it's
Why?
I feel like it's so stupid. Like one of the scenes is so stupid that I was like, can I turn it
Uh,
off? Can I switch it off? But anyway,
okay.
yeah,
Did
I
you watch the full thing?
yeah, I do watch the whole episode, the first episode, after someone persuade me to like do so. But like, it's a tough time for me. I really prefer like Western ones, like the old ones, like the ones like the Thanos Endgame and the ones before that, and maybe like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is okay, and the
Is
Spider-Man
the
into the Spider-Verse and across the Spider-Verse. I guess the trilogy, like there's gonna be a trilogy or something like that. I'm gonna put that in the first category,
first
or
thing?
like the most preferred movie in my life.
Actually, we should do a tier list.
Yeah,
You
tier
know
list, like
tier
S
list.
tier, yeah.
Yes. So S tier is Spider-Man for you.
Like that Spider-Man, like Miles Morales, the black
Okay,
one,
Miles
the
Morales
animation.
Spider-Man is S tier.
Yes,
Okay.
S tier for me, because
Okay.
the wonderful thing is that you watch a lot of like Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and you think you know the movie how it goes, but it also but these kind of movies are But these two movies is kind of more surprising, and it doesn't really stick with the script or the stay of the
Yes, yeah, I agree. I agree.
usual
You know
manner.
the the Andrew Garfield one. The one before Tom Holland, and the first one is Tobey Maguire, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the third one is Tom Holland, as I said. And these movies they always follow a pattern. The heroine dies or Uncle Ben dies, blah blah blah. Responsibility. Great power comes with great responsibility, blah blah blah, and it always follows a pattern. But this one, for the Spider Verse, it's I think it's because it's in animation, so the barrier there is not a limitation to say, so they can feel a lot of creative freedom in it. And what I really like about the movie, the first one, is that they have different Spider-Man from different multiverse, right? And
Yeah, that's not. It's
what
okay.
what's
It's
the
not a
girl
spoiler.
called?
The girl is Gwen
Gwen
Stacy.
and yeah, 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 yeah. And I really like the black and white Spider-Man, not the spider. They have a completely different art style, and
And
it
the
blends
insane
into
thing
the
is that
way
it's
of
voiced by Nicolas Cage, like a super famous
yeah, yeah,
actor. Like I'm like,
yes,
ooh,
yes. I just learned that the other day.
yeah,
Yeah, and how it blends and these very distinct art style they blend into one single frame. It's really amazing. So I really love how this works.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think like the message that it brings, like usually in the past movies, is more like the greater power comes with great responsibility, but in the Miles Morales movies, it's more like, how can I say without spoiling it? It's like a leap. It's like telling you to do something despite of the circumstance or despite of
Yes.
the like what others think, and that narrative is slightly different than the responsibility narrative,
Yeah,
but it's also a
for
good
the
narrative too.
classical
Yeah,
movies is it's all about others, right? It's all about sacrificing for others. But for this movie, it talks about Spider-Man himself. So the narrative, yeah, it's a bit different as you said. Yeah.
and do you know, like in the past, if I'm not mistaken, like usually superheroes will be like Superman, and then he'll have superpowers, and he's also like a journalist or something like that, and he do really well in all the kinds of jobs. And then when
Do
Spider-Man
really
come,
well.
yeah, and then when
Okay.
Spider-Man came out, like people were like the editors or like like people who knew Stanley was like, wow, he's a teenager and he lost his uncle, or like he have lost his uncle to have some problems, and how can you still like make others like him if he's only a teenager and he only have like limited, how can I say, like
Resources, limited
limited resources,
resources.
or like there's
Yeah.
so many tragedies that happen to him. But people miss out the fact that, oh, actually it's the tragedies that make you who you are, and it's similar to life, and it resonates with people because everyone have gone through tragedies, and it's the tragedies that shape you, uh, and that formulates you and constructs you towards some kind of structure that makes you face life continuously.
Yeah, Spider-Man is imperfect. He's not like Superman. He's not like Batman. He's not filthy rich. And he's always got his own thing for Spider-Man. So he's imperfect. That means that audience can resonate with him, a lot better. His title is a
Exactly.
neighborhood friendly superhero.
Yeah.
No, your neighborhood friendly hero or
Spider-Man.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit more closer to the audience per se.
Totally
So what
agree.
about the other movies? How do you what's your the remaining of your tier list?
Remaining of my tier list.
Yes.
Oh god. I don't really know, cause like I always forgot about movies. So
What have you watched? Have you watched, the rest of the Marvel
yeah,
universe? Like Iron Man, Ant-Man, Hulk, and Thor, something like that?
oh yeah, I did watch them, but like I didn't watch all of them after the Thanos movie because there's way too much TV series and way too much like information for you to absorb. And if I'm really like spending my days watching those movies, I'll have no time to do other serious stuff. Like it's
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
that's true. There's like so many movies and so many TV series
And
going
some
on.
are
It's really
disappointing,
hard
I
to catch
guess.
up.
Like
Sorry?
some are, I mean, some some other movies after the Thanos era, like the Phase
Oh,
Five
yeah,
or Four, I don't
yeah.
know, are kind of disappointing because they're not that exciting anymore. It feels like they're following the same formula. Maybe
Like, what was that? Yeah, like Ant-Man is not really, it doesn't really wow me,
have you watched the new
It's,
Ant-Man, the Quantumania? Is that how it's called?
yeah, that one.
That one is like
Doesn't really wow.
that doesn't really shock me or make me wow. That one's like okay, you're talking about family, you're talking about a daughter that's kind of
Maybe,
rebellious.
yeah,
I don't
maybe
know.
like 20 years ago it would be great, but it's 2023. Oh my God, it's
Everything
nothing
already
special.
happened. Yeah, everything already happened before, and happened once again. And it's happening once again, which is like not surprising.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's not that good.
thinking about it, like there are movies about multiverse in Marvel or like even DC movies these years, this decade, and the fact that Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse do it well and do it in a way that's eye-catching is also like something that people should appreciate on.
Yeah, it's really hard to stand out,
Yeah.
with so many multiverse movies coming out.
By the
But I
way,
remember the first one about, I think it's Doctor Strange. When they
hmm
first introduced the multiverse, I think it's in Doctor Strange. And the visual effects is really good. For the first Doctor Strange movie, I think.
first Doctor Strange movie.
Yes, the first one, where they introduced, Doctor Strange and Time Stone, all that stuff.
Well, if I'm like I don't know, cause like my memory about it is that there's a time stone and then there's a monster, a dark monster, and I think that's from another dimension, but not exactly another multiverse.
Well, my memory is a bit hazy on that one, but
Yeah.
well, it's something like that. Something like that indeed, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so
So I was wondering,
okay.
which like we talk about Japanese animation. Do you like Japanese animation more or like the Spider-Man one? Like the movie that we just talked about, the Spider Verse anime animation more than Japanese, or the other way around.
I think you can't really, it's not,
I think it's completely
it's like
different, to be
comparing
honest.
apples to oranges.
Yeah.
They are, I would say they are very different forms of media. With Japanese, and I think it's a bit unfair comparison because the movie they have tons of Marvel budget, Hollywood budget, and those Japanese companies, those animation companies, they are running on very tight budget. So I
Right.
think this comparison is a bit unfair, but I would say that because I do very seldom watch American cartoons, I'm really past that age, and I don't really know any adult ones for American cartoon. I don't really know, but I would say this is quite a experience for me for that movie.
Well, yeah, I agree with you on that. Like to me, like to us, or like Asians, like Japanese animation or like this kind of animation is like really popular among us, and
Yeah.
we watch a lot of it. So to me, I'm surprised at how different animation can be with the Spider-Man, Spider-Verse movies. But
For
like it doesn't,
American
it
cartoon,
doesn't, it doesn't remind me of the old Western cartoons because like, do you remember like Ben 10? Do
yes,
you, yeah,
they always give me an impression for Ben 10, for even SpongeBob, and maybe even for Family Guy. The characters are not as appealing as the Japanese counterpart. So it really puts me off for some of these American cartoons.
yeah, but like I
The
feel like it's also like the Spider-Man movie is also kind of different in terms of animation comparing to the old style. Like like first of all, I'll say that the Spider-Man animation have tons of like drawing styles, tons of painting styles, and I feel like it's already an evolution from like American cartoons like the old ones, Ben 10 or like or like
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. The budget is different, and well, American cartoons. How can we not talk about Pixar?
Yeah.
That just occurred to me. Pixar, Monster, and Toy Story. These are very great movies.
Yeah, but I feel like there's also like I don't know. There's some kind of
Like
like
what?
evolution. I feel like it's just an evolution of like the style and how you draw the cartoons with with that with those movies. But anyway, yeah, I'm talking too much about it. Oh, I really like the movie, by the way. That's why
Well, I can tell. Even your wallpaper, right? Is it Spider-Man?
no, my
Your phone
wallpaper right now
wallpaper.
is not Spider-Man, but
Oh,
after this
okay.
conversation, I'll change it to Spider-Man.
You change it back.
I'll change it to Spider-Man. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, a good storyline, and then good filming angles and styles, or like drawing style, painting styles, things like that. Those two
But
are
I
like,
do recommend you to watch the X-Men series. I've been
yeah, I
talking
watched some
to.
of it, but
Which one
like
did you watch?
the one that they
Which one?
get back to the past because they're
Oh,
like
Back to the
crazy.
Future Past, right? Is
Yeah,
that the name?
there's like a crazy, I don't know, robot or something that can
Yeah,
kill like
Sentinel.
X-Men. Okay, I watched that one, and I also watched slightly like the one with a purple or like blue hat. Who's that guy?
Purple, blue. You mean the villain?
The villain, yeah, like
Oh, that one is
with
not
crazy
good. That
power.
one is
That
that
one is
one is
bad.
not good.
Yeah, that one is
Yeah, that
bad.
one
I
is.
was like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing? I need to watch Logan. Didn't have time to watch Logan at all. I watched
Logan
maybe
is
a
the
little
best.
bit.
Logan is the best.
Do you like his muscles?
Yes, Logan is the best. But you need to watch all the X-Men first.
Yeah, so you
To
can
build
connect
up
to
the
the
emotion.
build up. Yeah, the motion.
Yes, because Logan is the final movie, the
Yeah, I'll
last
figure out a
movie.
way to like watch it all again because I'll kind of forget them all out. Oh, by the way, you talk about Dark, like Dark Dark Knight trilogy being the best
Yes,
in your
it's the
list.
best.
Yeah,
It's not really a superhero movie. It transcends the genre. It's more of a philosophical one. It has lots of great quotes in it. For
I love
Joker,
the Joker.
as well as Bane. Yeah, I
Maybe
love
that
the
was the
movie
second
very
movie
much.
on my list. On my tier list. Maybe it's the second movie
Which
besides
one?
just the one with the Joker in it. Cause like
Ah,
sometimes I
yes,
go
the
back to YouTube and type Joker, like who's his name again? I don't know. Like the Dark Knight Joker, just to see clips of him clapping hands, acting crazy, and and I'm every time I'm still awed by his amazing performance. So maybe he's my second movie, like slightly different from your take. That'll be my second movie on the list.
You know the do you remember there's a hospital scene where they blow up a hospital
Oh
in
yeah,
Joker?
yes,
And yeah, you know it's not like a real tick, right?
yeah. Like
I
I
mean,
remember, like for some for a moment, like he's pressing the button, but like the button doesn't work. But actually,
yeah.
like that take should be taken out. But he acted so well that that take is like saved for the movie, and I'm like, okay, okay,
That scene is really natural. It really looks like what Joker will do.
yeah.
Yeah, so can really hard you can hardly see any hardly see. Oh, it's actually the actor doesn't actually expect the hospital to blow up. Blah blah blah. It's great scene.
And like just about Jokers, comparing Jokers. There's no Joker that looks more like a Joker than the one in the Dark Knight. Like,
Ah, yeah, the new ones are they are not as good. Have you seen the one in Suicide Squad? There's one,
oh
and the other
god,
one in
no, that one
the
is
movie.
like, what the hell, Oh god, that was not a good movie. No, I mean Suicide Squad is kind of fun, but the Joker in it is not that
Yeah,
eye
it's not that
catching.
good.
Yeah.
How about the new Joker one? In
Oh, the
2019,
the
on
artistic
the
one.
stairs. Yeah, the guy is dancing on the stairs. That's that Joker.
I don't know. I don't feel so resonate with that movie, but I appreciate his effort. Like he's trying to pretend that he's so crazy that he have like 7 medications of stuff like that, and I'm like, is that even possible? I'm like, is that even possible? Like as a psychology student, I'm like, is that even possible to have that many medication without killing yourself or without causing other issues? And I'm like, okay, you're trying to make
It's not
someone,
that bad.
you're trying to create a villain that's crazy like that. But are you sure it's persuasive? I mean, to me, it's not that persuasive, and
It's
I
not
can't
that bad
resonate
per
with.
se, considering the recent DC movies.
Well,
It's not really that bad per se,
and
but
yeah, and it's
nothing
an
really
artistic
wow.
movie, so like it's
The
kind of
DC
different from.
movies is the DC movies are recently are not it's not that good as Marvel.
Yeah.
Now watch the Batman versus Superman one, and
Oh,
honestly, the
just a little bit. I
it's,
don't think I have a patience to watch it. People say that it's bad,
yeah,
but I'm
it's
like,
like three
okay,
hours or something, right?
2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, something like that. I just remember it's so long. I sit in the cinema. I sit in theater. I sat on my seat and I was wondering, oh God, when does this ever end?
When am I gonna pee?
Yeah. When can I go home? It's just lingers on and on and on. It's not as good.
I mean, maybe there's like a golden ratios for like how long a movie should be. Maybe.
Yeah, certainly. It should not be that long. Too long.
And like,
It's
if I'm not mistaken, like from like some psychology or neuroscience research, they say like your attention span is like 90 minutes. So
90 or 19,
90,
90 minutes.
90
Okay.
minutes, and
Really?
90
90
like
minutes.
90 like 60 plus
Yeah. I
50,
know, I know.
plus 13. So like 1 hour and 13 minutes. They say like a attention span is like that, but I guess if I'm in a movie,
Really?
if you have
90
some kind
minutes.
of like suspense or you have some kind of time for some casual scene before you jump into like a more interesting, a more detailed scene, maybe it's okay to make it longer than make it 2 hours or something like that. But I I guess people can use this as a parameter or like a knowledge for making movies. Like somehow you have to make 90 minutes and maybe let the audience chill for a little bit and then introduce more later on. maybe something like that. But I guess movies on their own already have times that, or already have moments that allows the audience to rest before introducing another scene. So it's okay to like be longer than 90 minutes.
Is it really 90? Because, with nowadays,
90 is like
it's all about TikTok, it's
oh,
all about watching those minuscule YouTube shorts.
oh god.
And I feel like the attention span is just reduced to, a tiny fraction of what
Yeah,
I was from my own personal experience, from my own personal perspective. I feel
yeah,
like my own time span has so reduced so much in the past decade.
yeah. Because like they would like make you have like some dopamine, some kind of dopamine addiction, and then it also like reduces attention span, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, maybe in nowadays society, if you're a person that always constantly look at TikTok and Instagram or YouTube Shorts, maybe it's gonna ruin you. Like I'm not disagreeing
What
with that,
about
but I'm saying
those
like
TikToks?
optimally, from a healthy person, maybe it will be 90 minutes. But
The thing is, we always have our phone to ourselves. And when I was a kid, I always I remember that I can be on the metro metro and I can just read a book or something. But nowadays it's all about grabbing your phone and watching whatever is on your phone. So the attention span is really reduced.
and people don't read anymore. Like they find some
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
AI tool and be like, AI, please tell me what this article is about. And the AI will just generate a script or something saying that, oh, this article is about blah 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 blah. Like
Yeah, ChatGPT and whatever the heck is out there. People don't read anymore, myself included, of course.
yeah.
Don't have that much time to go through a wall of text when I can just run it through some AI and just they can just summarize the whole thing for like a few words, for a few sentences. So why not?
And like I study psychology and I read like neuroscience or neuropsychology papers
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and like and for now, like in the past I might read it like fluently easily, but now I'm reading it with like great difficulty. Like my attention span is like really shortened, and I have to like drag myself through the article step by step and trying to memorize every single step. Like maybe I'm not saying that it's definitely the internet that creates some kind of like short attention span, but I think there may be some kind of correlation and some kind of causes behind.
Actually, what's the stance on, using these AI things for universities nowadays? Can you use like ChatGPT for writing journals or writing essays?
Some universities allow that, but like I'm not sure about my university, but I remember I had to like fill up a form that said I'm not using AI or any internet, some kind of like generation tool or something like that to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
my
yeah.
homework. I
Those,
have to fill
those
in those
two.
forms. And there's a classmate that was not good in English, and I think he like kind of used AI for his homework, and he got a letter saying like, "Oh, we detect that like 15% or like 30% of your work might be created by AI, and it's not okay. We're gonna, I don't know, do something about it." I'm like, "Oops." Luckily, I didn't. Luckily, I managed to to work it out and not rely on AI. But I guess eventually they have to allow it because like they can't really detect it with some kind of anti-detection tool. Like there are some websites that can paraphrase what AI wrote and make it seem like it's not being generated by AI. So eventually they have to allow it, and eventually some part of the the calculation that you have to make in your brain can be resolved by AI. But I'm not sure which exact year will be like the year that every university will be open to AI.
Wow, yeah. I mean, there's so many tools out there, and the universities they have anti-AI too. So it's all really fascinating to me. And the technology nowadays is just bursting out constantly. So there's a lot of things to catch up nowadays. You
Yeah,
know,
thinking about that,
while go
I was
while go you
thinking,
have yeah. But you
oh, I was thinking, like, should I learn more about AI or the details or the mechanisms of AI to really like follow the trend, but before it's too late? Like, it feels like AI is the new iPhone, and
yeah,
like
I would say yeah. AI is the new iPhone indeed. Yeah.
and like you know like my grandparents, if they didn't learn how to use iPhones in the past, they'll be they won't know how to use it after a few years because they'll improve in a huge amount. So I'm thinking, do I need to learn like coding, some AI knowledge or anything detail about it, or at least like some ways of writing a prompt, like the like writing the question, how the ways, what ways I should write it, what ways could I write it in that it would be great or like
You
or it will be
know,
optimal.
the
Do I
AI
need to
thing
learn
is
all those stuff?
mm, not really. I think it's you don't really need to learn, the every technical detail. It's not like, oh, I need to learn how to do machine learning. I need to know how the math behind the AI works. It's not like that. It's more of a oh, so AI have these function that can benefit me in daily lives. Like for ChatGPT, they have they have translation. It's really well done, even better than Google Translate. I use it time to time.
Really?
So you can learn how to use these things. And for ChatGPT, it's not really hard to use. You go onto their website and you can treat it like a person, like an actual person. It's not like those dumb AI for Siri or Google Assistants, those dumb ones with a pre-assigned prompt. It's not like that. It's a whole different level. It's really like an actual person. As I'm like working now, in my working during when I work, when I have some Excel questions. Oh, I don't know the function to this. I don't know how to calculate these formulas. I will ask Excel. I will ask ChatGPT, and they can generate a formula for me. It's a customized formula. It's not like asking Google, where they give you a very general answer. It's for ChatGPT. It's like asking an actual person. Asking a colleague, asking a friend. So it's a whole different dimension to this. And yes, I agree that you should really learn these things because I believe that this will be a very great trend, a massive trend in the future. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
It's not like, yeah,
I'm thinking, what I'm thinking about is like, do I need to learn how to write it in a way like, imagine you are like an engineer, or imagine you are like
no,
a blah blah
no, it's
blah.
not
Do I
like
need
that.
that?
No, in fact, you can even do a podcast with an AI. It's just so it behaves so much like a human nowadays.
Yeah, I think like
More than
maybe I don't need to change
yeah,
because maybe the AI will change themselves to accompany.
yeah,
You know, right?
yeah,
You're right about it.
yeah. So maybe in a few years' time, for perhaps like 5 to 6 years, you can even do a podcast with an AI in life,
That would
real
be
life
amazing.
time. Maybe someone is doing it right now.
I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
asking it
great.
philosophical questions and be like, what's the human purpose? What's human life? And something like that.
I think right now they have some very fake answers.
Right.
The OpenAI, the company behind the AI, they have lots of restrictions. If you ask them some very politically incorrect questions that I'm not gonna say here,
Yeah. Like I'm
they will have
thinking,
some censors. Yeah,
I'm thinking if like Elon Musk is making a new one, the Truth AI, something like that.
Yeah, and he's making like a chip inside your head. It's really crazy. It's like something straight out of a Black Mirror. Have you watched Black Mirror?
Yeah, yeah, I watched a little bit.
Black Mirror. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like something you see out of Black Mirror. Personally, I think that there's always a balance between technological advancements. They bring a lot of convenience, right?
Yeah,
But at the same time, you have to sacrifice a lot of your privacy, sacrifice a lot of your own, perhaps your own personal data. So I
and
think the balance between these two, you must always strive for balance. For example, nowadays you have face detection. When you go to an airport, when you
yeah,
check in, when you just board a flight, they always have these very convenient face detection devices. But I think this kind of scary as well. It's like something out of a George Orwell book in 1984. You've read it, right?
I heard
1984.
about it. I didn't really read it.
Yeah, well, you should give it a read.
Okay,
It's all about these dystopia. Some very
dystopia.
authoritarian empires. So these kind of technology is really scary, especially with Elon Musk's neuron chip.
Neuralink.
Of course, there's
Neuralink.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Neuralink, whatever it's called. I really forgot, but I think it's a very scary technology if it fell into the wrong hands.
yeah. I think like new technologies are like it's like exploring unknown moral grounds. So every time there'll be a new product or like a new technology or something new that pops up, they will be criticized and be analyzed by the public whether it will create some potential problems, and if it pass, it pass. What Black Mirror kind of like describe is a scene where people fail to distinguish the good from the bad from certain products that technology brings, and it slowly corrupts the whole society. So let's hope the society will be will have its sanity, so that so that things won't be become something like Black
Yeah,
Mirror.
so yeah, they like create a perfect society. Using whatever morals the computer or whatever the mask tells you. There's something straight out of Black Mirror, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, there are lots of episodes, not only that one. I remember there's one in Black Mirror where the guy lived in a metaverse or something like that, where he just stares at the monitor all day. I forgot what episode that is. And there's another one where I remember quite clearly is there's a woman who asks for likes, on Instagram. The society is constantly craving for likes and followers, and it's just so insane. And yeah, Black Mirror. Talking about Black Mirror, I think it's a very great TV series. It's a very awesome horror series for me personally. It gives a lot of inspiration to me as well. What to be wary of. Have
yeah,
you watched it?
yeah. A lot of it, but I don't know if I've watched all of it. Like the one that I remember really precisely is the one that, like, besides the one with the likes, is the one that there's like two guys trying to make out inside the video game, inside the virtual world,
Okay.
and that one is like also like questioning like what is real and what's not, and whether whether that should be called cheating or not. To me, that's obviously cheating, but in the same time, it's like to some people they might argue that it's not because it's some kind of new unexplored territory. But anyway, yeah, I've
You mean the guy is making out with another guy
I mean, a guy mixing up
on
with another
online,
guy
or was
online.
it like a
Online.
actual person online
No,
or an
it's like
NPC?
it's like the mind get into the game virtually,
Okay,
and there's
so another player.
yeah, another player, and the two players were like
Okay,
in a battling scene, and then one player is,
Okay,
and
I
supposedly
see.
those two players should be fighting, but they choose to make out instead, and the game is not over for some reason. Like the game allows them to do those crazy stuff together, and they start
Yeah,
making out.
a couple years ago, there's always the talk of, sorry, there's a talk of metaverse, right? And the
You mean
lines
Facebook?
between reality and virtual is getting blurrier and blurrier, and it truly scares me somehow as well. Yeah,
Why?
and there's a YouTube channel I remember watching called Low Budget Stories. You can check it out, and it tells these stories about being on metaverse, and I think it's really interesting as well. Yeah, you should go check it out. Low Budget Stories.
I wonder, like, I wonder if one day, you create a metaverse that's so close, like so similar to real life, will it become like an will it become like a cycle? Like we're creating a universe for our illusion, and then we're creating another universe from our illusion to to illusion, something like that.
But the thing is, metaverse is virtual, right?
Yeah,
So there's always, you can't live on programming code. You need to eat something. You need to, your real life body need to have actual needs. So can't, there's always something going on in the real life as well, not just metaverse.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
in Chinese, like there are like Chinese online fiction novels, and they always talk about maybe some kind of like cold chamber, something like that. That you freeze the body inside the chamber so you can how can I- so you can play games every day for a long period of time. I'm thinking if things like that will happen, like like you freeze your body inside a spaceship for traveling, right? Like there's some movies will say that, but
yeah.
there are also books that say like you freeze the body and allow your mind to play games for like a crazy amount of time without doing anything else.
Wow. What's the point to that, to be honest? There's really no point to that. I mean, I guess when I was a bit younger, I will always use these video games as form of escapism.
Yeah,
You escape from your problems
right.
in real life, and well, that's certainly a way to do that. But well, as I grew up, I think that you can't always escape from from your issues. They always follow you around, and temporary dumping them away is not a good solution. You always need to face them.
The cruel reality,
So yeah, the reality is always cold. It's not
but
like
it's also
fairy tale.
necessary.
Yeah, for you to grow, for you to to
Survive.
experience. Yeah. So video games is not always an it's not always a solution for people.
Unless you're the one making the video games. I'm kidding.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Human purpose. Well, that's an interesting way of like bringing up stuff like that. I guess
Yeah,
I guess you can find some kind of purpose playing video games. If you are entertaining others, like if you're influencing the real world in some way, shape, or form through the virtual world, then maybe there'll be some purpose.
you mean
But
like a streamer,
yeah, like just like a streamer.
like a YouTuber.
Yeah, but a lot of the reward and the purpose always have to be linked to the real world, or else it can be sustainable, I guess.
Yeah, certainly, certainly. Oh. Speaking of streaming, actually, have you watched any streamers lately?
Streamers. No, I used
Yeah,
to watch like Fortnite streamers or like some kind of like PewDiePie or something like that. but
PewDiePie stream.
sometimes. Like
Sometimes.
ages ago, not now, I guess. I used to, watch those stuff, but now I figured out that it's kind of like this, always the same thing, always the same thing around. So I'm not that interested in watching those anymore. But sometimes I'll go on and watch videos of them playing horror games because I like the sense of horror and I like the aesthetics. So I'll watch those stuff. What about you? You know,
Streaming. I don't have time to watch streaming. It's like the stream for 4 hours, 5 hours. Actually, no idea how people watch them. They have the time to watch these things. If I were to watch a stream for if I were to watch a streamer, it would be like highlights, not the
yeah,
full thing. Of course, no way
yeah,
I can watch the full thing.
yeah. I know a friend that's trying to like stream and like earn some money, and I always tell him to like make some highlights, make some video clips, because people will be really have a first of all short attention span. Second of all, streaming in general, like the whole thing, watching the whole thing is kind of boring. You need some highlights or you need some moments that will attract the customers and also remind the viewers of the amazing moments of why they participate. You have to have those kind of like video clips, shots, things like that.
Yeah, there's so many streamers out there nowadays. It's hard for someone to stand out, especially you don't have a fan base, you don't have anything. It's really hard for them to stand out. And I always see, it's not only on Twitch, it's even on YouTube. I always see some new YouTubers, new streamers. They just play a game without saying anything. Then what's the point of the whole thing?
Because like if you, well, I guess like some people would do it as like ASMR, I guess. But like in the same time, if you're not speaking or you're not projecting your own elements into the game, it's hard to make you stand out or how to make you how to make something attractive for someone to watch. So
Yeah, it's quite impossible. If I were to watch someone does nothing but just stream a video game, then why not just go watch Markiplier or something to do that?
yeah, Markiplier.
And
Oh,
yeah, yeah, Markiplier.
one of
And
my
it's not only just playing games. I think popular Twitch streamers fall into two categories,
mhm,
maybe three. Like the first one is they are very good at the game.
right,
Those pro gamers, Face Clan, something like that. And the
yeah,
second one is you're funny. You have a personality. You're funny, you are humorous. No matter what game you play, people will laugh. It's all fun and joy. And the third one is, you're a cute girl and lots of sims. And
lots of Sims.
yeah,
Okay,
these three categories. I think they fall into these three.
yeah. Sadly, I'm doing podcast. If I'm doing like streaming, I'm gonna like go to make like gonna do like transgender surgery just to make myself look cute and see if there'll be how many viewers be like,
Really,
"Hey man, it's so
really.
cute."
Oh my god, no. I don't want to imagine that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about all this stuff, about movies. You remind me of like music because like I love the Spider-Man verse in the movies soundtrack. But I also know you have I don't know if you like it or not, but and also I noticed that you have a really special taste in music. So so why don't we talk
Special
about
taste.
it?
Special. I wouldn't call it special. It's
Not
just
special. It's is it jazz? Jazz?
yes, yes. I like jazz. Swing jazz.
Hmm.
Another term for it is called big band jazz. Jazz they have a lot of different subgenres. You know, First you have those piano jazz where you fall asleep listening to it. Uh, y- like in the coffee shop, You listen to those soft jazz, piano jazz. So
Right.
that's one thing.
Used to listen to
I
that
think it's called
sometimes.
bossa nova or something. Sorry,
I
what do you
used to
say?
listen to them sometimes,
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
chill.
to fall asleep. Yeah, to chill, something like that. And the second one is big band jazz, the loud, very noisy ones. I think it's popular during 1930s or something like that. It features a large band, a very large band, like 10 to 20 people, and creates some very loud music. And yeah, that's what I love because I don't like listening to blues, slow music, because they make me very sad and quite depressing. So why not just listen to some very flashy, some happy ones, some upbeat music? So
Right.
yeah, that's what I love. What have you been listening to nowadays?
I mean, these few days I've been listening to the Spider-Man movie soundtrack crazily. Like,
Okay,
but like besides that, I like soft pop. Is it called soft pop? Like Adele, Sam Smith.
okay, Sam
Those
Smith. Yeah,
like
okay.
or like Adele. And look, not Sam Smith now. Sam Smith now is just crazy. Like not really, not really, not the really proper,
Yeah, not really your cup of tea.
not really my
Everyone's
community
cup of tea.
anymore.
Yeah.
But like the past, like old music, like which one? Let me down.
Okay, let
Lay
me
me down,
down.
lay me down, lay me
Oh,
down,
lay me down. Okay.
and like and another like piano, kind of like there's a piano and then there's someone singing. Those kind of music or like other soft pop are my favorite.
Oh, I
So
see. So piano ones.
yeah, you can say piano ones, but I'm also open to other types of music too. So basically, in my Spotify, there are different kinds of music. Oh, like yeah, did I tell you that? Did I tell you that before? I've I've make a list every single month. Like there'll be a
Yeah,
list being
that's
like 2023 July or like June, and I'll throw in all the music that I listen that month, and the next month I'll use another new playlist, and then I can go back and track my track my pace no pace track my list and know that in that month I've listened to that kind of music, and
wow.
every new
That's
month I'll
actually yeah.
and every new month I'll try to explore more options just to like add more music into the list. So right now, let me check.
Wow.
The I
That's
have
really a very interesting way of listening to music. You know, especially you have different folders when
yeah
when you go back to listen a certain song, then you will remember those times when you were
exactly.
listening to that song. Yeah, yeah.
Like that's what you told me
When
to.
I
You
was
told me.
when I was younger, when I was like in primary school, I used to listen to Beatles a lot. The Beatles, the British band. And sometimes when I just go back to listening to Beatles, I just remember all those times. So I think this is a very great way to listen to music. And
Yeah,
the other thing is that you won't always, like me, I always listen to same damn music. It's getting boring, to be honest. But
what same
exploring
damn
new
music?
music is the way. What?
What same damn music? Okay,
Yeah, the jazz ones.
okay.
Yeah, I'm getting quite bored, to be honest. And exploring new music is always a good thing.
Yeah, because I know friends that kind of sticks with one playlist, and I've just checked the songs that I've liked is like 3,156 songs that I liked,
Oh
and
God.
and there are like so many songs. Like if I scroll down the list and go back to the original ones, maybe they remind me of like maybe remind me of the years back in secondary school. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. But
Wow.
anyway, but I only make a list like every single month, just last year, starting from last year. So
I
then
see.
they're not really like the list is not that long yet. But eventually, one day I can go back to maybe like 2022 and press on the playlist on July, or or May, and then I'll find myself recording those memories.
Yeah. Like if you listen to a certain song, maybe Spider-Man song, then you will remember this podcast. Something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, speaking of podcast, how is your podcast doing?
Ooh, ooh. I was about to say that too.
Yeah, I'm very curious to know.
As I made three podcasts. The first one is about escapism. The second one is about, I don't know, a little bit about online gaming and some kind of friendship. The third one is about friendship too, but like it's mixed with like some relationship advice. And
Relationship advice.
yeah,
Wow.
I was talking to a girl. When you talk to a girl, those
Is
stuff
she
of things
asking
come out.
you for advice? Or are you asking her for advice? Which way was it?
Which way? Which way was it? Tell me, tell me. Okay.
Oh god,
We're
I
talking
haven't
about
listened
we're
to that
talking
one.
about it mutually. Okay.
Okay, I see. I got to listen to that one then.
We gotta listen to that one.
I haven't caught up yet. Yeah.
And I'm just thinking of like maybe doing like a solo podcast with myself, just talking about certain stuff for a while. Because like, first of all, I can't invite that much guests. Like, it's hard to find a guest for every single week, I guess.
So you're doing this for every week now?
Well,
If you
I've been
planned it out
continually
for every week.
I have guests. I have guests for every week till now, and I'm thinking, should I, maybe use like 1 week to do something on my own, like solo, like Bible study, or
Wow.
like maybe just talk about psychology, but maybe about psychology, because people don't want to know about the Bible. The Bible. Imagine like someone
I'm
don't want to like
certain.
listen to the Bible, be like, oh, that's interesting. No way. No
I'm
way.
certain there's an audience for everything.
But there's
You
the
know, you can
audience for
talk about
everything.
anything. Yeah, there's an audience for everything.
But
Why
how?
why did you actually why did you do podcasts in the first place? I don't really know a lot of people who does this kind of thing.
I like about like Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, or like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
or
yeah.
like Andrew Huberman.
Yeah.
Like first of all, like I like the fact that they're sharing knowledge, and second of all, I have like a strong belief about certain things that I really want to share about.
Ah,
So
I see.
so I want to be someone that influence others, I guess, and share information. Like, do you know Andrew Huberman? Andrew
Not
Huberman?
really.
Not really. Like, it's
Not
like a neuroscientist, a professor that professes and teaches information in the form of a podcast, and I really like those kind of information. I want to be one of them, no matter like similar to Joe Rogan, or like similar to like more academic side like Andrew Huberman. Like and as my friend, you should know that I love conversations with people.
Yeah, you do.
I love to share stuff, like share like good news,
Yeah,
bad
you do.
news,
You do.
and even like I feel like it's kind of a good time to like really share information that I believe is that share things that I believe holds true to others. So
Uh,
and I think we talked about this before. Like in the past, I used to push others and force my ideology on others, but now I kind of like back off from these kind of really aggressive behaviors, but in the same time, I still want to share to others about, you know, like my belief or my ideas. So that's why I make, this podcast, Emmanuel's Manual. Emmanuel, is my name, and manual is like a guidance or like a manual that teaches
Wow.
others how to behave or how to,
Wow.
how to
How
do stuff.
inspiring. Yeah.
I hope
How
that
inspiring. Yeah.
how inspiring. I hope that one day it will eventually be some kind of I can really dig deep into every conversation that we have and eventually guide people to make the right choices.
Wow. So it's kind of like those, it reminds me of those radio programs, where you dial up and you ask the guy, oh, what should I do? And the guy will give them advice on a radio channel, on a radio program, something like
Yeah,
that.
but I like
Wow.
I like the way that we're talking about different topics, and and you're not really asking me. You bring out your narrative, and I'll try to understand it. And if I disagree, I'll slightly ask more about it, and elaborate on why I disagree. Like I like the way that it's kind of mutual, instead of I thought about making a podcast that's more like top down and being like I believe like being a little bit more aggressive in showing my belief. But I think that it's kind of it that is kind of a good way to to explore other people's belief before making any
I
conscious
think
opinion.
you're just starting out. There's tons of opportunities, tons of areas that you can explore. So it's really a great start for you, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking about ways to to now I'm thinking about ways to make clips from the podcast because I'm not getting as much exposure as I want, but I'm
Actually,
thinking
I
of
read it. I just read it another day on whatever social media I was on. I think a
uh,
great way is that to maybe to connect with other hosts. If you can do a collaboration with them, take turns being on their show and them being on your show might be a great way to get more exposure. And apart from that, marketing, blah blah blah. I'm not
well,
a
you have
guy
to teach
to.
me about marketing. I'm stupid.
No, no, no. I'm never done podcasting before, so this is just what I read online.
Yeah,
And
I'm also thinking
yeah,
about making other videos, but
other videos like what? Like what? What kind of videos?
oh god. So I don't know why, like saying covers popped into my mind, but I know that I'm bad at saying. So I don't know, like
No.
maybe some explanation videos or some
Wow.
like
Okay.
Bible verses explanation or some kind of well, you know what? I really don't know. Maybe we can figure it out later.
Okay, that's really interesting. The That's really interesting. The podcast. But yeah, I think it's a
Yeah,
very
tell me, did you
good
listen to
time
it?
to. Yeah, I think it's really a good time for you for podcasting with
Right.
so many podcasts popping up nowadays. It's become quite a trend. Maybe not here in Hong Kong, but in America or many other countries. In Hong Kong, I myself don't really have the time, have the opportunity to listen to a lot of podcasts. Whether it's at work or commuting to work, whatever it is. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah, for me, it's like watched podcasts and before, but now I rarely have time to really listen to it. So I am trying to figure it out if there are other ways. But like maybe I'll maintain the podcast often. Like yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I was talking to another guy, and he said like he said like there's someone that said 90% of the podcast doesn't make it through free podcasts, and 99 of the 1% doesn't make it past 21 podcasts. And I'm interested to see if I can have the consistency to post like 21 or more podcasts and see if
You post one every week, then 20 weeks, 20 videos will be like what? 6 months. So half a year.
or if I can find more people and I can interview them more frequently, maybe it'll be fine.
So
But,
how
but,
did
but
you invite the guest? You know,
it's hard to
how
find
do you find
guests.
your guest? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking should I like find the same person after like a few weeks, or should I like? Because I have a crazy idea that I told some people, but I I thought about interviewing professors from my school about psychology,
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
but I feel like it's kind of risky choices unless they're not teaching me that semester.
Oh, okay.
If they're
Yeah, I see
if
what
they're
what
teaching
what
me
you
that
mean.
semester, oh god, I,
Yeah, I totally see
it'll
where
be
you're coming
so
from.
awkward
It's a bit embarrassing, right? Yeah, really awkward. No way I can do that. I've done some interviews before,
with
you
who.
know, but it's not for podcasts, obviously, but for, just for research for my dissertation. And it's really awkward after doing that. Seeing them back, it's quite awkward, as you said.
Should I interview them after I graduate? But I feel like after I graduate, they won't fucking care about me.
No, no, no. I believe the professors will be.
Really kind,
No, they won't be that. They are very helpful, right?
helpful, right? I don't know.
I
Anyway,
don't know, man.
okay. So it's great talking to you.
Yeah, it's quite a experience, to be honest. I never imagined myself doing podcast.
Like
And
the past three persons that are in the field, either I know them for like half an year. No. Or like I know them online for a really long time, but never met before. Or either is a female friend. Female friends are kind of different from male friends. You can't be you can't like I'm not that close to them, kinda.
okay,
But you're someone that I how can I say it? Hang out sometimes. Like not sometimes, a lot of the times, But you're kind of like a friend in real life compared to them.
well, just to say this is really a unique
Experience.
experience for me. Yeah,
Welcome
yeah,
aboard. You will always find me and talk about stuff in the podcast or beyond the
yeah,
podcast every
sure,
time.
yeah, sure.
So, well, let's end it here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be a guest on your show. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Do you wanna, okay, you talked about it. We don't wanna, Okay, so I'll end it here. So, welcome to
Thank you
Emmanuel's
so much.
Manual. Welcome to Emmanuel's Manual. And if you want to learn more about different stuff, you can click into other videos on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. And if you want to leave a follow, give a like, you're always welcome to do so. So see you
Yeah, go
next
check
time.
out his. Yeah, go subscribe or follow him on Instagram. Yeah, go do that.
See ya.